Okay, I've been thinking, and the easiest way to get a little hut is to dig a hole in the ground, probably, because it requires the least resources. All you have to have is a shovel. You don't have to have a saw or an axe or anything. Um, and the second easiest way that I think you could make something is get wool and crochet a cover, like a blanket, and use it as like a tent over trees in a forest. Um yeah, but the underground thing would flood probably, so you'd have to make sure to dig up a mound on the sides of it to where the water couldn't get in. Um and dig it at an angle probably for steps to go down into it. Um and maybe even divert the water on purpose that could get on the steps to a lower level than even the hut was built at, to create a temporary well or something like that to hold the small amount of rain that falls on the steps. Um, but yeah, so that's what I was thinking about. Um, because I was like, you could dig underground, but you would get water if it rained in the hut, but not if you dig a little well to catch the water um, from off the steps. But that would go down deep into the earth, and you could create like a tube, like a pipe or something, and even possibly pump it out. Um, but you would have to create some kind of a pump to do it. Um, or you could just let it soak into the ground or dip out the well water with a bucket, um, and keep it below a certain level or something like that. But make it to where it's able to hold a good amount of water. Like dig like seriously under, like beside and underneath the hut, beside it, um, but under it. You see what I'm saying? Beside it, but down deep. Um, and create like a little room to hold just the water, um, where you could dip it out with a bucket or something, but have a room too that is your hut and have steps going down into it. Like have like holes beneath the steps that could siphon the water. You see what I'm saying? Into like a bucket type thing beside where you live. Um, and yeah, you could just drain the bucket, drain it with your own hands, your own manual labor, um, and clear it with a bucket. Um, that's the easiest way is to just build underground. That's what I think is the easiest way. Um, More sophisticated ways, of course, involve like concrete blocks, which you got to be able to get from somewhere. So you could dig out rocks and you could dig out concrete blocks from harder dirt. You could dig out hard blocks of dirt, and like dig out blocks and build it with blocks too, like concrete blocks. Um, and that would probably just involve a shovel. But other than rocks, trees is actually probably a harder idea because you got to get an axe, and the trees will be lumpy. Um, you're going to end up with more like a fence that you just build up and have a big fence woven on 4 sides and put leaves on top or something, or put crocheted wool on top. But so that's an idea. All these are primitive structures basically, but the ones that are built with dirt are probably the most easy to do. And I like the idea of building with dirt blocks, um, like concrete blocks, even though they're not concrete, they're dirt, because it creates 4 walls for you, and you just have to make the roof out of something. You could make a mound pile of dirt and dig it out like a hill, and just have a rounded off structure, um, like a clay hut kind of thing that's rounded off, and that you dig a hole into the mound. But you have to harden the mound of dirt first by letting it wear over years, probably, or at least like 6 months or something. Let it harden before you dig out the middle of it to make a small room like an igloo. But that's one way too, is make a mound, make a make a hole, make dirt blocks, or make a mound.